Hello, Austin, Texas. You're listening to the Home Team with Troy and Wyatt. We're bringing sports and money together for your education and entertainment. If you have any questions about anything we say or do or see today, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com or give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, Wyatt is available on the Facebook.
On the Facebook.
And that is the Home Team 512. And you can, I certainly hope you might enjoy watching this on the YouTube.
Yeah.
And that is the YouTube, the Home Team 512 as well. We made it very simple. It's the Home Team 512. That's our area code.
Oh, yeah, I got that part.
Yeah. And that made it very simple.
Okay. All right.
And just so you know, this segment and all segments are brought to you by sponsored. Brought to you by.
Both?
Yeah, I like
Maybe
brought to you by. Brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where they turn houses into homes by financing your American dream.
So
they finance
So is it the Home Team 512 or is it just Home Team?
No, it's the 5. It's the Home Team.
You have to put the in there? Okay.
Yeah, well, if it's on the Facebook, so it needs to be the Home Team.
You're right.
Yeah. And it's on the YouTube channel.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And so this is the segment.
You're so goofy.
Yeah, but this is the segment where we discuss finances.
Well, and this is a good one, right? I've learned a lot in the last 2.5 years from you. It's also directed me in going to find other things. This is a tough time. I mean, okay, if you have some money, what do you do with it? And if you that little bit, you're thinking, well, I need to, if I'm not making as much as I used to, right? You've already discussed that your paycheck doesn't mean the same amount as it did last year.
No,
right?
it's 2% down just if you're breaking even.
And it was even more so before then, right? Before we had a little bit of comfort come back in, right? Some of the pricing coming down. You're thinking, I need to make some more money with my money. Mm-hmm. What the heck do you do right now in this environment?
You know, that's the funniest thing is that whenever things like this happen, I always reach out to my money guy. And I always have these ideas.
You got a money guy?
I got a money guy, yeah. Believe me, I need one because I am way too aggressive.
So what does a money guy mean? Are you talking about stocks and bonds, mutual funds?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're not talking about the guy who does your taxes?
No. He handles all of the, he buys and sells stocks and bonds and mutual funds and all that sort of stuff. And
let me stop you right there. If there's some people out there right now, where do they find a money guy? I mean, you hear Merrill Lynch. I mean, what route do you go, and how do you get family and friends and ask them what they're doing, or what's your advice on that?
I have excellent advice on that.
What's that?
And this is, and you follow the money.
Okay.
So you have friends. I have friends that are doing better than you financially.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
I'm saying we all have friends. We all have friends.
Yeah, some are doing better than others. Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
and you ask them,
okay.
What do you do with your money? And they will tell you, oh, so and so at so and so has my money.
Right.
And so I don't want to, I don't want to sponsor anybody.
Yeah, but I get it. But so
yes.
Ask family and friends.
Yes. So my accountant he's actually passed away at this point, but my old accountant recommended who I use. He's like, hey, this is who I use. And my accountant and I knew him for a long time. Knew him since I was actually a kid. He's helped me with money, taught me about money, all sorts of stuff.
He's your mentor. Of sorts,
just an accident, just kind of like, he did my taxes for like 30 years. And every year he was like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then one year I finally had enough money. He's like, hey, it's time for you to get a guy.
Get a guy. I got a guy.
He's like, you need to get a guy.
And I know a guy who knows a guy.
And so I'm like, well, what do I do? And he's like, well, I use this guy. And so he introduced me to somebody, and I have done very well with that person ever since.
And you can always move from a person, or you can diversify and have two guys,
yes.
right? A guy and a girl. But, and a gal.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm asking is because a lot of people ask that. It's a nerve-wracking thing to just try to call someone and then trust them with your money. So your advice is to find someone else you trust that's using someone and go that way.
Find someone you trust that is successful.
Yeah.
The problem, the issue,
it's like going.
The standard thing is that I don't know how to deal with money, and so I go to my parents and ask them what they do with their money, and they tell me, and so I think that's a good idea. Why? Because they're my parents. And again, I'm not saying that's. I'm saying you need to find someone that you know that is successful, and honestly, it may be your boss. At where you work, if you work at the manager there who's very successful and stuff like that, and things like that, you can say, hey, look, I've saved up enough money. It's time for me to learn how to invest. What do you do with your money? And managers will enjoy that because that's if they're good managers, they
Right.
growing their people is part of something. So yeah, so don't it doesn't have to be you may if all your friends are just your friends from high school and none of them are successful, find somebody else.
There's
But
Facebook
there's-
groups that also you can
Yeah.
get on there.
yeah, and don't be scared to ask somebody that. Just tell them, hey, I've been saving my money and I know that there's a lot out there I don't know.
Yeah.
What should I do right now? And
Start with a little bit, and then if you like it, go a little bit more.
yeah, and investing in and stuff like that. Well, I'm very aggressive in my style.
Are
I
you?
mean, like
Were you always though?
Oh, I've always. I mean, I started out like penny stocks and stuff like that.
I used to do that back.
I was very aggressive. So, and it works well because the person that I use understands that. And so, and every time these markets shift like this, I mean, I can see the shift coming and things like that. So I pick up the phone. I got to go sit with him for an hour and we talk and I walk out of there and it's almost the answer is almost the same every single time. It's the basics.
Troy, go take some medicine, chill out, and relax.
It's the basics.
I'm just saying,
it's the basics.
Just keep on.
He's
Keep
like,
on investing.
and he's like, hey, this company's da 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 da. Do you think they're going to be good in this market? I'm like, well, yeah. Oh, okay. So maybe we should keep investing in that company. Yeah. Okay. Because if you want to do some of these other things, you have to take from that company to do these other things. I'm like, no, let's stick with that company.
Yeah,
And by the time we leave, I'm like,
like that.
I'm in the exact same. I'm doing the same thing I was doing before, But and it's literally like stock by stock or mutual fund by mutual fund. And he's like, and we go over, and he's like, so what do you think? And so literally,
So he's good with you.
nothing has changed this year for me. I mean,
but how many times have you walked in his office?
4 times.
Does
And
he
we're-
at least
we're-
give you like a Coke and coffee or
Oh,
something?
hey, whatever. Oh, yeah.
A high five.
Yeah,
Like
he knows I'm
he calms
coming.
you down a little bit.
Coffee's at the door.
He's
when
like,
I- yeah.
here comes Troy, guys.
Yeah.
Troy's here. Troy's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple things. He's like, because I'm like, hey, this stagflation in the 80s, it lasted for years. Maybe we should position for that. And he said, well, there's nothing wrong with that concept. He goes, but how much do you want to take away from the companies you're investing in? Because do you think these will be good in 3 years from now, no matter what inflation does? And
Well, let me ask you a question. You invest more dollars. So what he's saying is, don't you can invest other amounts of money that you have currently into other directions.
Right. No, well, I have a set amount that I invest every month.
Okay.
Right. So
And so that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Keep that amount going in
Yes.
that direction.
Yes, he says, so if you want to do these other things,
You're
why
gonna
don't you
take-
give more money? You're either going to have to take from those or you're going to have to give more. Because I dollar cost average every month. It's the same amount every single month goes into all those stocks. So you got to think in December, the Dow Jones was at 36,000. Right. In October, I think it was like 32,000, right? Well, I was sending the same amount of money, but in October, I was buying 10% more than I was in January.
So
You see what I'm saying? So I'm buying the same amount, but I'm just getting more for my dollar, right?
How does your guy make money?
So there's several options they can do it. Some of them are per transaction, right?
So when you
So
sell
every time-
something, buy something,
They get a commission per
Right.
transaction. That's one thing, and that's how it was for a long time. So it would limit me from doing things, right? I'm like,
because you're like, oh, that
wanna
costs me money.
I don't want to sell 500 shares, because
Yeah.
that's going to cost,
Yeah.
And so, but when I had big stuff, so I go make a lot of changes, 2 or 3 times a year. So I didn't,
Yeah.
I didn't do it every. Well, then he moved to what's called a fiduciary. So basically, the amount he gets a percentage of the amount that's inside my portfolio. And the higher the amount inside my portfolio, the smaller his percentage, but it's more money, right?
Okay.
So it's like a tenth,
So
up to-
he.
So if I can save $5 million, he's doing really good.
So I'm not against him and his moral compass, but with that kind of standard, they're not going to say, "Hey, buy, trade, sell all the time." They're not direct you that direction. They're going to give you that really hard. Like, let's keep it here because I'm also going to make money.
Yeah.
Don't screw this up for both of us.
Yeah, it does not make him any money for me
Sure.
to sell or trade a stock.
So would you suggest that for someone coming into it, they should do a per trade type scenario, or you have to have more money for the person to do the the fiduciary?
It just costs you more. It just depends on your thing. This is the part where you need to sit down with your money guy or gal. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
And just go over that with them, and they will give you the right one. And and if the person that you trust who's been successful in your life gives you this recommendation, you should follow it.
So
That's why I say it's very important to make sure it's a
Makes sense.
successful
Makes sense.
person.
No, makes
that
sense.
you know.
But I'm imagining like if you're going to invest like $5,000, and not that that's a small amount.
Yeah.
That's a large amount to a lot of people. But at $5,000, they're not going to take the fiduciary role. They're going to do a per trade type scenario. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think you should get a guy or a gal
For 5,000
until you have at least $100,000 saved up.
Oh, not fit 20 grand, 50
I
grand.
mean, I just think you should. I think you should dollar cost
get
average
on an app
and get and understand it and do that. You know, you can have somebody like Charles Schwab, I think, or
Yeah.
you know, one of those non-affiliated
$100,000,
accounts.
huh?
That's what I think. I think you should be doing it all to yourself
because of the cost.
Well, yes, but also the knowledge, because you're going to learn on the way up.
Well, but $5,000 is a lot of people. They don't want to learn on $5,000 because they're putting a pretty big chunk in there. They're like,
no, at $5,000 you should be. It's very simple.
But it seems like
50% of your money goes into mutual funds. The other 50% goes into 4 stocks, and you just keep dollar cost averaging those until you have $100,000.
And just find some stocks you use on a daily
Yeah,
basis.
I mean, we've talked about that plan forever.
Okay.
That's until, like I said,
and it's a good time to do that. Right
until that person gets to $100,000. Half of your money goes into a mutual type fund, an investment QQQ, the DRGV, anything that mirrors the S&P, because the S&P is 9% over the last
50
decade. So you just anything that mirrors half your money goes into anything that mirrors the S&P. The other half of your money goes into 4 stocks that you love.
Okay.
If you love Ford, you buy Ford. If you love Coke, you buy Coke. If you love Under Armour, you buy Under Armour. Whatever it is, and you just dollar cost those until you have $100,000.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
That's great.
Then you get to your money person.
Then you get your gal, your money gal.
Yeah, and then that's when they go over the cost and all that stuff. But you will have learned along the way.
Makes sense.
Because when that thing gets to $20,000, you're paying attention to it every day.
So real quick before we get out here, any websites or books that they can do, or can they call you for that kind of stuff?
Give me a call. You've been listening to the Home Team with Troy and Wyatt, so please reach out to me on this, and I will direct you in that. I have some books and everything else. Phone number is 855-299-HOME. Website is loansfromtroy.com, or you can reach me on the Facebook.
The Facebook.
And this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage. We'll see you in just a minute.